graphs. Now let's go ahead and see another example. Let's say we have a function given that is y is equal to square root of x minus 2 plus 3. And you know that when we have something like minus 2 inside of this absolute value bracket, it's 2 units to the right. So we are going to have the graph that is moved 2 units to the right in the x-axis. So it's going to be 2, and then plus 3 means 3 units upside. So in the y-axis it's going to be 3 units upside, and right here. And since the x value is positive, it's going to open up, and here the here the slope is 1. It means when it goes up by 1, it's going to be going right or left by 1 as well. So if I plot points, so this is 3, and then when it's 1, it's going to be 4. When it's 1, it's going to be 4. So it's like 1 1, and when it's 3, it's going to be 4 as well, and when it's 0, it's going to be 5, and when it's 4, it's going to be 5 as well. So the graph goes on like this, okay. And let's look at next one, and make sure it's passing through this 5. This is 5. Okay, now the next thing, let's look at another graph. Let's say we have a function given. Okay, let's look at the domain and range for this one. So domain is always negative infinity to positive infinity for an absolute value function. So for this one also same, a negative infinity to positive infinity. And the range, we have to look at what's the lowest value and go for the highest value. So we don't put this equal, we put domain and next to it. And the range, it is starting from positive 3 right here. So positive 3, and it's included, so we put a square bracket for that, and we never include the infinity, so we put this circle bracket for it. Okay, now let's look at another example. Let's say we have a function given that is like this, y is equal to 4 minus x plus 1. So when you have a value that's adding or subtracting right in front, that's the value is going to start. So if I go and draw the graph, okay, let me put some values. So here I am interested in the 4, so I'm going to go till 4. So this is 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it's going to start at 4, and this one is absolute value function, and plus 1 mean it is shifted 1 unit to the left. So here 1, so it's going to be at 4 1 exactly, right here, the first point. And is it opening up or down? You can see there's a negative in front of this absolute value function. So if there's a negative sign, that is going down, and the slope is 1 because we don't have anything in front of the x, so it means it's just 1. So we are gonna have values like when if it's 1, it's 4, then if it's 0, it's going to be 1 units down, so it's going to be 3 at 0. Let's use a different color. So it's 4, and then 1 unit down is 3, and when it's okay, this is negative 1, negative 2 also is going to be 3 as well, and when it's negative 3, it's going to be 2, and when it's 1 right here, it's going to be 2 right here. So the graph is going to go like this. Okay, so this is the absolute value function for graph for this one. Let's look at the domain and range for this one. The domain is positive infinity to, negative infinity to positive infinity. So we can, okay, let's write that one, negative infinity to positive infinity. And the range here is lowest to highest. Lowest is negative infinity, and the highest value of range is 4, and 4 included, so we put it in a square bracket. Now let's look at another one. I'm gonna remove both of these. Okay, let's say we have a function given by f of x. Okay, you can write like this: 2 absolute value of x, and then -1 plus 3. Here if you see, we have a slope of 2. So if you have a value in front of this absolute function, that is our slope. So here you can see we have 2 right here, 2. So this is our slope right here. Now how is this function? Okay, this is plus 3. How is this function is going to look like? Let's go ahead and draw it. So first you can see that this is 1 unit to the, it's moving 1 unit to the right side. So the point 1 is going to be there, and then it goes 3 units to the upside. So the first point is going to be at 3, 1 right here. And is it opening up or opening down? It's opening up because the value of this function is positive, so it's opening up. And every time when y moves 2 units, it moves 1 unit. Like, let's say this is, what's the y value at 0? So it's going to be 5, because we have to move this one 2 units to the up. So it's going to be meeting 5 when the x is 0. Same happens here. When x is 2, it's going to be meeting 5 as well. Then when x is -1, it's going to move 2 units again, so it's going to be meeting 7. So at 7 we are going to have another point right here. And then when 3 also is going to be 7. So the graph is going to look like this. It's going to goes forever. Okay. Now the next thing is, let's look at another graph. Let's say there's a function given like f of x that is equal to 5 minus 3 square root of 3 absolute value x minus 1. So if there's a number right in front, adding or subtracting, that's going to be the first number. Let's go and draw the graph. Okay, so let's write our 5 here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then here you can see the slope is 3, and then this is the moving 1 unit to the right. So in the x-axis is moving 1 unit to the right, so the first point is going to be right here. Right here. And where's going to be the second point? The second point is, and also this is going to be opening down because there's a negative in front of this absolute value function. So this is going to be opening down, so it's going to go down, and the slope is 3. slope is what? Rise over run. That is like basically y over x. So if it moves 3 units down, then it goes 1 unit to the right or left. So for 0, like when x is equal to 0, that is 1 unit in the x-axis, is going to go 3 units down. So 5 minus 3, that's 2. So it's going to be right here. And then here also, when it's 2 also, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be at 2. And when it's -1, what's going to be the y value? It's going to be 2 minus 3, that's -1. So it's going to be right here. And when it's 3, it's the same thing. It's going to be right here. So if you draw the graph, it's going to look like this. Let me try a different color. Okay, it's going to look like this. It's going to go forever. Let's look at the domain and range for both of them. So first of all, this domain is -infinity to +infinity, and the range is, what's the y value starting first? That is 3 here, and going to +infinity, and that is circle bracket, 3 included, so this square bracket. Now let's look at this one. The domain is -infinity to +infinity, and the range is lowest, where range is like no equals. Range is starting from lowest value, that is -infinity, and goes till 5, and 5 included, so therefore square bracket. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next video.